Yeah. Let's go.
Do we see a green bike in the front? Shakes it down. Webster with a good jump.
Look, Cloud up the inside. Cloud that comes through.
Jed Beat has done everything right today. 5 seconds to go before 24 ProMX champion.
Take a bow, Kyle Webster.
Go hard.
The road to glory begins right here. 8 unique world-class racetracks spread over 4 different states around the country. And we kick things off right here. We're in Wonthaggi, Victoria for round 1 of the 2025 Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Hogan alongside former Supercross superstar Danny Ham. Danny, welcome. Wonthaggi never lets us down. The atmosphere is just incredible.
Incredible way to start this series every single year, but this series is really growing as well. A couple of new venues, the red clays down at ANDRA and also loose soil up at Warwick. This series is developing into something very special.
Now, the Kawasaki MX1 category, Kyle Webster, he's got the red background, the #1 plate on board, and all the talk is about him in the off-season. He got a win here during that off-season at the Victorian State Motocross Championships against some hot competition.
He's very well up there with a chance, but I am not going to rule out Jed Beaton on the blue bike. You've got to remember back a year, he was one of the guys that was running up the front as well, ultimately went on to challenge for the entire championship. This is a guy you cannot rule out just yet. A lot of racing to get involved in, but before we even get to that, we need to check out the track, and you, Hogs, got a chance to get out there for the ProMX track preview.
All right, let's hop on board for a lap around this tricky and treacherous Wonthaggi circuit. Over the finish line jump, and we tip it into a right-hander here, electing to go through the middle line. This is one of the biggest tabletops on the track, landing nicely and heading for the safety of the inside, because as we exit the corner here, we're presented with the first of our rollers, our whoop sections. You need to make sure you don't get too sideways as you exit the last whoop. Have a look at the selections, the options of ruts that we have through that left-hander, which in effect is the end of the double first turn. 2 parts to the first turn here at Wonthaggi. Where we are at the moment as we come past the spectator area is the hardest packed section of the track here at Wonthaggi. We can see some hard packed ruts. We make our way veering left hand here and it gets a little bit softer. It's going to get so rough and choppy here as the day progresses. Some braking bumps already starting to form. Out of this right-hander and up a medium-sized tabletop, making sure that you stick to the left-hand side away from the deep ruts. And I'm trying to play it nice and safe here, a little bit wide in that berm as we head towards the big middle tabletop. We land and the highest speed corner on the track, the big left-hander, an iconic turn here before we pick up speed and make our way slightly up the hill. We've got 2 options here. There's a jump on the far inside, which I elect to stay away from. Going around the outside will set us up nicely for this double right-hander. A slight drop down here in elevation as we make our way to the far outside once again, railing around the berm as we pick up speed for a big tabletop, and we're slightly turning to the right-hand side here. Very cool jump, and a little bit of a famous jump here at Wonthaggi, and the last of our rollers. I'm just tiptoeing my way through here. Trust me, these rollers can bite you. A famous right-hander here, almost like NASCAR style, as we make our way into the sandiest part of the track, trying to get to this inside rut. Have a look at those lines there. Jump up to the inside here, such a sketchy part of the track, and over the finish line jump. And that completes 1 lap here at Wonthaggi. All right, well, it's time now to head down as Danny Ham got to catch up with some of our fastest MX1 riders in the country. Let's take a look.
2024 saw one of the closest finishes to a championship in the sport's history. 2 riders tied on points after 17 scoring races. And as we move into the 2025 championship, we are starting to see all the ingredients for yet another epic championship for ProMX in the Premier class. The defending champ, Kyle Webster of Boost Mobile Team HRC Honda, is ready to show why he has the #1 plate.
Yeah, we're about to get things rolling here this weekend. Coming in feeling good. I think we've had a really good pre-season. Plenty of bike time, a lot of time on the new bike. Worked real hard with the team, and I think it was ready to get things going. This is a home track for Jed and I. We do a lot of riding here, so I think I would say Jed will be the main competition this weekend. I would like to hope so anyway. But no, it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the goal is always to win, obviously, but we'll definitely be going at it, I'd say.
CDR Yamaha Monster Energy's Jed Beaton missed the championship on a countback, and he's here for redemption.
It's a shame to end on the same points, but end up second. It's I don't know, probably the first time it's ever happened, like everyone's spoken about. But yeah, it's been a good 2-3 months. A lot of hours on the bike, and feel like we've worked quite hard on what I felt I struggled with last year. So yeah, that won't happen again.
KTM Australia's Nathan Crawford had an impressive rookie year in the Premier class, collecting a moto wing along the way, and is ready to demonstrate his speed in 2025.
I had one of my best pre-seasons I've had in my career, and yeah, just looking forward to just being able to put that to show and just be able to prove that I'm worthy of being at the front all the time, and I work hard to win, and that's what we're here to do. You said I've had that taste of winning in this class, and it's it's addicting. So yeah, put in a lot of work, and I think my bike this year is going to allow me to fight for the wins a lot more often. So yeah, once we get through this first round, I'm really going to make a push forward to the front.
Adding to the fight, we cannot rule out the big challenges from Penrite Empire Kawasaki's Luke Clout, who found form the more 2024 progressed. Max Purvis, a late addition to CDR Yamaha, just wrapped up the New Zealand National Championships. And you can count on factory KTM Kirk Gibbs and Raceline Husqvarna Racing Todd Waters reaching deep into their wealth of experience. Along with the return of Wilson Todd and Regan Duffy, a few of the young guns that have stepped up into the Premier class, and a full grid of determined racers, this season is about to bring some heat.
The battles that we've seen so far throughout qualifying, throughout the whole shootout between Beaton and Webster, they have been going back and forward all day long. Let's look at that Kawasaki MX1 lineup. Jed Beaton, of course, on the number 14, the fastest qualifier. Cole Webster, Kirk Gibbs and Crawford on the KTMs. They found form in that pole shootout, as too did Wilson Todd. Todd Waters, Luke Clout, Levi Rogers, Maximus Purvis and Chandler Burns 10th. That's a great way to start the 450 career.
How good is it having Wilson Todd back on board after almost a year with no racing? He had an interesting injury which needed a skin graft that kept him out for basically 6 months, and then a Liz Frank injury, the ligament injury to his foot that kept him out for basically another 6 months. So for him to come back after basically having a holiday for a year, well, that's a bit tough on him. He had no choice in the matter. To come back and put that kind of pace in qualifying, it'll be interesting to see how he goes near the end of 25 minutes plus a lap. That's going to be the true test. And there we see it. The Kawasaki MX1 class is presented with the 15-second board. There we see the 5-second board. Who will get the first whole shot of the year in the MX1 class? Watch from the middle of the field. A great jump from the number 1 machine. Cole Webster slingshots out of the gate.
What a sweep into turn number 1. Gibbs almost off the outside. Clout very loose in there as well. And Clout is ready to bring the fight early in this one. Around the outside, trying to put a pass early on this and control the lead if he can get there. Steps out of that rut. Not quite in line. Beaten to the outside. He's back there in about 6th place at the moment.
Oh, big mistake. Do you remember the crash that Cole Webster had a couple of years ago in that exact spot? Front wheel went out over the rut, tucked and crashed when he was leading the first moto. That was so close, except I guess an older head on the shoulders. He managed to keep that on 2 wheels. He doesn't want to do that too often.
Wilson Todd, 4th place, as you see the WP Whole Shot Award going to Kyle Webster. It was a clear one over the rest of the field. Nathan Crawford sits there in 3rd place, and to the outside, here comes Jed Beaton. He is ready to bring the fight, but he has got to clear a few riders first if he wants to catch up, and he cannot allow Webster to open up too big a gap.
Well, this is a nightmare scenario for Jed Beaton on board the Monster Energy Yamaha machine. He cannot afford to let his rival Webster check out and off into the distance. He needs to make these passes, and he needs to make them quick.
Wow.
Sets up the inside on Wilson Todd, carrying that number 6, and uses up up all the track. A brilliant pass there, and he looks to be on a charge.
Now, I'll tell you what, he's expending some energy right now because those passes, those quick passes, were very, very intense. Small mistake right there in even that small foot dab. That will spike the heart rate a lot as he tries to get to the front as quick as he can. He knows the urgency required if he wants to battle out for a win. How's the battle here? There is Todd Waters. He's come up a few places as well. Purvis is there as well. They got themselves around Kirk Gibbs, and that is back there for 6, 7, 8 at the moment.
All right, so a little bit of a recap here. Webster from Cloud beaten. Wilson, Todd, Nathan Crawford is our top 5. A good start for Todd Waters in 6th place. Gibbs, Purvis, Duffy up in the top 10. Welcome back to National Racing, my friend.
Down. That is massive.
Crawford, that looks to be Todd Waters has gone down. Who else was caught up in that one?
There was Duffy that was at the tail of that as well. I caught just past the mechanics area. I could see it in the background. I don't know what happened. As we go back to 2nd and 3rd here, Beaton is trying. Here we go, Honda replay. Let's look at this. I think this is going to start here with, there's Purvis to the outside. That's already happened.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Gibbs just manages to miss those two, and Duffy in the wrong place at the wrong time and wasn't able to get off the side of the track. This is some good early race speed from Luke Cloud. He needs to try to keep this form going. I think it's just a matter of time before Jed Beaton makes his way past, but once he does, maybe Cloud can pick up on some lines.
Right here, he made a pass on Crawford around the outside here. Beautiful line.
Easy pass.
Yeah, it was so easy with Crawford as well. He just got a beautiful, smooth line that flows all the way through. But we have 3.8 seconds to the gap now. Do you see him closing that down? It's going to be tough.
This has been the story throughout the 2024 Pro MX Championship, Hammy, where so many times we saw that gap that was around 3 to 4 seconds between these two. And unfortunately, they've done a million laps around this track together. They know each other so well. And they're normally, once they get into race pace, they're normally exactly the same. And it's just so hard to try to make up a current 4.6 second gap. It's not impossible, but I tell you what, Jed Beaton is going to need to be having a good day here for round 1.
Yeah, so the quickest on track the last time around was, in fact, our race leader. However, Beaton was dealing with the pass there with Cloud, as we saw on screen, the 72 machine of Duffy. The number 8 machine up there, Watson having a good run as well.
Kawasaki MX1 Moto1, 20 minutes still to go, so we've got 5 minutes done. A very intense 5 minutes that's seen a few on-track altercations. There we have the number 8 machine of Zachary Watson doing a great job out there. 1 position ahead of Regan Duffy, who had to, almost had a bicycle rack situation where he had to pull his bike back and get going.
But this is a good performance for Watson at the moment, sitting in behind the Yamaha, my apologies, KTM Australian rider of Kirk Gibbs. And right onto the back wheel as we see Duffy here. Got a chance to chat to him prior to this, and he's pretty pumped to be back racing. He certainly missed the sport while he was on his time off. And he has some very realistic expectations this weekend. He said, look, if I'm a top 10, I'll be very happy. Well, he's deep in the top 10 right now. He wants to have a good, safe year and enjoy his racing right now. And I think that's a great approach for him. And as he does that, he's going to continue to get faster and faster all the time.
Yeah, it's so good to have him back at the moment, and he finds himself all over the back of Kirk Gibbs, who's just trying to find a little bit of form at the moment. It's not typically the fastest part of Gibbs' race. His sprint speed is good, but normally not quite the pace of a Webster or a Beaton. However, he seems to have some serious pressure with Regan Duffy all over the back of him at the moment.
Yeah, just looking in the background too, there's some close battles just up ahead of these guys as well. But this is a fantastic one. Duffy looking very good. He looks very well in control and in sorts too. A great riding style in these kind of conditions. Finding some nice lines as he continues to go through. But it is Gibbs there who sits in 6th place at the moment. But they are quite a ways back at the moment from our race leader.
Little bit of a mistake from the KTM Racing Australia rider Kirk Gibbs as he went from one rut and exited into another. But currently Duffy has got all kinds of pressure from behind from Zachary Watson, who continues to put on a great ride here. He's on the Triumph Australia machine.
And behind them too in 9th place, Jackson, as we see here, the rider of Maximus Purvis, just going to the inside of Wilson Todd. So that there is for 4th place. That was one I saw in the background not too long ago. Fastest lap on lap number 3 the last time around, 48.4 compared to our 2nd place rider of 49.2.
Yeah, so it's just small amounts of damage that are being put into Jed Beaton at the moment from Kyle Webster. So we have a look here at the Honda replay. Maximus Purvis up the inside of Wilson Todd. And I think this is what we're going to find with Wilson Todd, that he's got such good speed. But I think when we get near the end of the race, he just needs to keep it nice and smooth, make it all the way through, get the checkered flag in a reasonably good position, take some decent points into Moto2, and start to build that race fitness from there.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to go out and do your training, do your motos, your practice, but it is not the same as race time. You really have a different level of fitness when you get into racing situations, and he is another rider that is fully aware of that. They are just going to ride themselves into this championship, but a great performance. It surprised me a little bit to see how comfortable he has looked on the bike and how quick he is going. So to sit there in 5th place at the moment is a worrying effort.
And of course our thoughts go out to Aaron Tanti, who would be sitting at home, no doubt, on the couch watching this. We want to send out our best wishes to him. He suffered a terrible damage to his vertebrae, C5 I think it was, C5 or 6. So unfortunately we won't be seeing Tanti throughout the outdoor MX series, and that is why we see the reigning New Zealand outdoor motocross champion Maximus Purvis filling in for Tanti here, doing a good job. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we've got so much more to play out. Welcome back to the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. So a little battle going on track at the moment, and that is for 3rd and 4th. Max Purvis has reeled in Luke Cloud. He's only 1.5 seconds behind, and the last time around he was a 1:50.6, some 3 seconds faster than Luke Cloud with a 1:53.3. So it looks to be only a matter of time, and here it is on screen. The battle that we came to see. Have a look at this up the inside. The pace from the Kiwi.
Where did that come from? He is absolutely flying. That caught Clout off guard, no doubt. He would not have expected the rider to even think about going on that line that we saw right there. What a pass. Here we go. Look to the outside here. It's set up from this corner. Purvis knows the line he wants to take, keeps it nice and wide. There's not a lot of bumps there either.
What a line.
He was deep into this corner. I'm surprised he actually pulled up in time.
That was, it was like he actually meant it. Either way, he's looking good, and I want to watch the lap times now as they progress from Max Purvis and see.
Oh no! This lap's not going to be good.
Is he going to be able to keep it ahead of Clout? Clout sees his opportunity to try to pounce here, but that's what we've seen over the last year or so from Purvis, as we've just seen some very, very fast lap times, and then occasionally some big mistakes that'll sometimes pop him on the ground. Let's have a look at the Honda replay and let's see what happens here. Is it the front? Is it the back? No, he just
dabbed his foot.
Well, he turned it down a little too tight, a little bit of an oversteering there.
I know where you were going before all of that too with the lap times, because I was interested to see what he was doing. Because the lap before, he equaled our race leader's lap time. He was the 2nd fastest on track. Liam Jackson just coming through there on the 25 machine, as well as Bryce Ogninis is back there in 12th. Another good performance by both of these riders. Privateer riders well and truly in the fight. Good to see them having a good run here. Good line around the outside there by Jackson. He's found that one nice and early. That is the line that we saw with Beaton. And 34 just going across the front of the screen there in front of this particular rider. That's Duffy on 72, but that one right there, Levi Rogers, he has passed a lot of riders to get himself into this position. A mistake there as we speak about him. This generally happens when we start talking about someone. But again, a very, very strong performance by this rider to move himself up into that position. Well and truly inside the top 10 now for him as he continues to move forwards, and not far behind Nathan Crawford either. through the lap traffic, race leader. And again, it's stabilised that gap. Let's see how much he makes here if he does it all, as Webster a little bit loose going through there and misses the rut. So he's a bit slow in that particular part. Oh, he's right there. Doesn't look like Webster got a good run. Man, this is all that Beaton needs right now. He knows he is eating away at that lead, and he can taste victory right now.
Yeah, look, I've got to be honest, and I think that Kyle Webster prefers to be in a battle situation like he's in at the moment. I don't think he likes to have too much time on his hands to be able to look back and see he's got a 10 to 12 second gap, but he has got himself deep in a battle at the moment. If there was ever time to fight, now is time to do it. It's a little bit of a sketchy line through there. It's so rough on the inside, and we saw the passing move from Purvis around the outside, but it looks like Kyle Webster has managed to just settle things down ever so slightly here in the dying stages of the race.
Yeah, well, that line, although it was very choppy, so short in the corner, that was a change up from the last lap around. That was quick. That would have opened up a little bit of a gap. Both of the riders back into the 149s on that last lap. They know they've got one more to do at the conclusion of this one. So both riders putting in 100% at the moment. And it looks like Webster has the upper hand right now. Going into the final lap, I think Webster may have done what he needs at the moment when he receives that last lap board. He's managed to hold off the fight, clears a couple of very important lap riders. That could be the difference right there.
A little bit of a twitch of the front wheel, but that was a very important passage of play for Kyle Webster. Has he broken the spirit of Jed Beaton, or is there another sting in the tail from the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha rider? The last lap board is out. The gap is 1.6 seconds. Is there another part of the story to tell here?
Into the left-hander, easy left-hander, squares it up through the turn. A mistake the last lap through there, turns it into a proper line, and Webster has got the power down to the ground at the moment. Past the mechanics area, no more boards needed. He knows exactly where his main rival is and what he has to do. Into the right-hander here is our race leader, the number one machine of Kyle Webster, Boost Mobile Honda HRC. And Jed Beaton is still within striking distance, but he is not close enough to mount a big challenge right now. But mentally, for Jed Beaton, he needs to finish, even if he doesn't win this, he needs to finish right there on the back wheel of our race leader to say, hello, I am here, I am ready to bring the fight the entire race. You aren't going to have an easy championship.
Well, he won't be happy with second place points, that's exactly right, but his worst nightmare would have been watching Kyle Webster ride off into the distance after getting his typical hole shot, right? But it wasn't to be. Beaton got into second place, reeled him in, and perhaps he wasn't able to make that pass, wasn't able to strike, but this has got to be confidence inspiring for the Yamaha rider. A mistake for Kyle Webster, and that's going to allow Beaton to come up onto the rear end of him. Can he do something super fast through these rollers? I don't think it's going to be. As he comes through, he's going to have one more turn to go. It's going to take a mistake from Kyle Webster, but no, it's the Boost Mobile Honda rider who strikes first. Kyle Webster takes first blood and victory as the checkered flag waves in Moto1 of the Kawasaki MX1. And what a display of racing. Webster slows down, showing sportsmanship, but a disappointed Jed Beaton waits off the side of the track there. There we see it, the high fives. We'd expect nothing less from these two. Brilliant racing from Webster and Beaton.
Kawasaki MX1 results, of course. Webster, Beaton, Purvis. Cloud manages to hold on for fourth. Wilson Todd there, great ride in fifth place. Nathan Crawford, Zachary Watson, seventh. Fantastic as to for Rogers. Gibbs back there, Duffy, Jackson, Ogdenis, Burns, McKay, and Drew, your 15 in the MX1.
Joel Evans just outside of the top 15, but I think there, Regan Duffy really quite impressive. You would have to say also Zachary Watson, but Wilson Todd, he, for me, was the pick of the race as far as where we expected to be to where he ended up. The spectators here in droves. Let's head down to Trent with our podium.
Down here with the winner of the Kawasaki MX1 class, Kyle Webster. That was a battle already of the year. Long moto, you guys were battling it to and from, but looks like the track's going to be quite tricky today. But a win to defend this championship, that's a way to get this thing started.
Yeah, I mean it's always how you want to start the year, right? So it was really good. Honestly, the track's hard. It's a little bit different to what we're used to, but it's pretty racy, I think, and it's just tough with the lap riders at the moment. I got held up there a fair bit, so it just broke the flow a little bit, but I feel like we got that off-season rust out, so ready to get in the next one.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Kyle Webster.
Here at Wonthaggi, it is hard to miss the amount of growth that we see in the pits from all the teams. And one of those teams, of course, is the blue team of Yamaha with me, Scott Bishop, Yamaha Motorsport Manager. Scott, what a presence we have here from Yamaha for ProMX this year.
Oh, Hammy, it's been a huge off-season for us. We've made plenty of changes to the teams. We've tried to unite the look and the presentation that we have. Monster Energy's come on board, Fox united across all the teams, Dunlop, Yamalube, GYTR. So it's been a real off-season of trying to unification and also trying to bring that pathway for Yamaha riders a little bit step closer. So for us, we've done that. We've fallen in line with what the US and Europe have been doing, and also our presence on the track with support of the series. So we're looking forward to a great year.
Standing here in CDR, Yamaha Monster Energy, of course, Jed Beaton, one of the big title contenders, but you're across all of the categories as well. Is there anyone that we're looking out for?
Let's just go anyone with a blue bike. So we have a big investment across all the classes, and we think we've got the riders to do it this year. So MX1, 2, 3, even the 85s. Hell, we'll win the 65 class. I don't care. So for us, it's a matter of having riders in every category, and we think we've got contenders in every category.
Well, it's an incredible experience for anyone that turns up at the race to walk through the pits and get to see just how much effort is put in by all these teams. So if you get to the track, get down and check it out.
We're here with Honda Racing Australia team principal Yariv Konski. Welcome, Yariv. Now, we had such a fantastic year last year, dominated and clean swept all of the championships. We've got another expanded effort for 2025. What can we possibly do better for this year?
I don't know if we can do anything better. Last year was surreal. I still have to pinch myself. It was an amazing achievement for everyone involved. We're certainly aiming to try and achieve the same again, and we haven't rested on our laurels. We've been working really hard in the off-season, particularly with testing on this new 2025 model, and we're feeling prepared coming into this year.
Now, we've got business as usual as far as Kyle Webster, Charlie Cannon, Brodie Connolly. But we've got a new member flying the flag very high for you, Cade Kingsford. He's been on fire throughout the off-season, got a win here. You've got to be excited with this kid.
It's great having youth in the team. He definitely keeps us all on our toes and makes it fun to be around, but he's extremely serious. And I could tell that last year with the discussions that we were having. He knows what he wants to achieve. It's a stacked field. I think there's like 60, 65 MX3 riders that we're contending with. The other factory teams have riders in this category, so we're focused on it. We know our bike's good, and we're looking forward to helping Cade develop throughout the year.
Best of luck for 2025, Yariv. Honda HRC Racing Australia, hoping for more of the same in 2025. We're here with Tyson Cherry, team principal of the Penrite Racing Kawasaki Empire team. Tyson, 2025, we're staring down the barrel of a big year. We've got Luke Clow on board as your main rider once again, but Campbell Williams injured at the moment, and he is replaced by Ryan Alexanderson.
Yeah, so obviously Campbell was injured a few weeks back, coming back from an injury, and he was just a bit too soon. So Ryan's been in Europe doing some races, and it was just a perfect fit for us, for him to jump in. Really good kid, so yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what he comes up with.
Now let's briefly talk about Penrite Racing. They've come on board as the main naming rights sponsor. Great to have such a huge oils company here in Australia on board.
Yeah, we've been in negotiations with them for a couple years really, but we finally got the deal done last year. So they've come on a naming rights, Australian company, and yeah, they're backing us in a good way. So it's going to be a multi-year deal, and excited to be working with them.
Now tell us about our women's rider in the Empire Kawasaki team, Taylor McCutcheon. She's been over in New Zealand riding exceptionally well. We expect big things from her here in the Easy Lift MXW class.
Yeah, Taylor's doing awesome. She's been in New Zealand doing pre-season, killing it over there. Obviously she had a small knee injury which put her out of the championship. But yeah, she qualified third today. yeah, I think she's in a run for a podium for sure.
All right, and from a manufacturer's branding point of view, it's so good to have Kawasaki on board as naming rights for the MX1 category here, our premier class.
Yeah, Kawai's obviously a progression, for 7 years now, and they're just getting bigger and bigger, and they're jumping on, behind us, which is awesome. And being a 450, Kawasaki MX1 class, which is great for us as well. So it's all falling into place year by year.
All right, Tyson, best of luck here at Wonthaggi, and keep your eyes on the green machines throughout the 2025 season. Let's take a look at our rider list for the Kawasaki MX1. Jed Beaton, Kyle Webster, Kirk Gibbs, Nathan Crawford, Wilson Todd was our top 5 in qualifying. Todd Waters, Luke Clout, Levi Rogers, Maximus Purvis and Chandler Burns has really been getting some good lap times here at Wonthaggi.
There were some privateers that really showed well. Jackson Watson were a couple of them as well. Regan Duffy had a pretty good return to racing. Great to see him back out there on the track as well. As we are underway for the final race of the day. MX1, the Kawasaki MX1 around the outside. Beaton, Webster side by side as Beaton that's got the upper hand.
Well, talk about just holding it on that little bit longer. That was looking like it was going to be Kyle Webster that would just get it ever so slightly, but Beaton refused to give up that whole shot. He's got the inside here, but he is going to come under pressure. Who is going to be the first rider to get themselves into a bit of a rhythm here?
Wow, that was brave by Beaton on that start. He was on the absolute edge going around that turn. And you're right, it's going to be the first person to crack now that they're both together. Let's look at that whole shot award. The WP whole shot, of course, going to Jed Beaton, but only just in front of Kyle Webster. 25 minutes the length in this Kawasaki MX1 Moto number 2.
Now, does this spell danger for the rest of the field? We know what Jed Beaton's early race pace is like. He sprints like no other. However, his starts have been pretty average, and I know the team, Craig Duck, the whole of the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha team, they have worked relentlessly on Jed Beaton's starts throughout the off-season, just trying to figure out what is going to be the game changer. We'll talk about coming up clutch here at a pivotal time. The Moto number 2 of the Kawasaki MX1 here at Wonthaggi. He has come up with the goods and a whole shot for Jed Beaton. Let's see how this gap progresses over the next couple of laps. It's already up to 1.6 seconds. This is now in the hands of Kyle Webster to be able to ride this out, to be able to keep that gap minimal, to be able to keep this race nice and close through that mid part.
Gibbs, Crawford, Clout, Rogers is up there as well. There is a battle between the 81 of Evans, Todd Waters. Duffy is in the fight here as well as they continue to go around their first lap. Waters to the outside just here. There is the number 6 of Wilson Todd, a long way back, so he's got some work ahead of him. Gibbs there in 3rd place at the moment.
Max Purvis all the way back in 13th place, Danny.
Wow. That is a long way. Now, in the first moto, he come from a long way back again as well. We didn't exactly see where he started, but this time we're going to be able to keep an eye on him and where he's going. Rogers with a big mistake right in front. Sorry, that's not Rogers, is it? The 38 machine. Ognenis, it was in the 38 machine right in front of Purvis.
On screen at the moment, Luke Clout on board the Penrite Empire Kawasaki is all over the back of Nathan Crawford, and these are a couple of riders that we kind of expect to be in similar position on the track. The number 23 has gone down, had a little bit of mischief.
Brandon Steele, that one was.
Brandon Steele. I've been impressed with the lap time speed of Luke Cloud. Just a couple of mistakes have caused a few dramas for the Kawasaki rider, but he's hoping to make amends here in the final moto of the day. He's edged up all over the back of Crawford now.
See the riders leaning off to the side there, trying to keep the balance as the bike sat up in the middle of those ruts. That was a hard landing. Let's have a look at this Honda replay right here. Brendan Steele, I think it must be, the 23, just overbalanced to the outside there. Fortunately, he was the rider that went down. Just around the outside there was Jack Byrne on the number 12. Oh, that's Cloud on the ground. Another replay.
So those mistakes that we've been talking about now was, a bit of a seat bounce of the bump there, just taking a little long to get into that race rhythm. Now, I wonder what that crash was caused by. Was it just an unforced error, or did something happen that we caught off screen?
I think he was right there in the fight at the time, going through that whooped out corner. I think that maybe he's tried to make a charge. Here we go. We're getting an answer right now. The back end step out here, a little unbalanced. Oh, that's a weird crash.
Yeah, and like I said before, remember when I commented on a previous race how a couple of our MX2 riders that make those rutted corners look so good, but that corner looked really weird, almost ugly. I think it's a lot trickier than we're giving it credit for, but yeah, that looked like a bit of a out of sorts kind of a crash, didn't it?
So fastest lap time, of course, Jed Beaton out in the lead, a 1:50.9 compared to second place, 1:51.0.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we've got so much more to play out. Welcome back to the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. Well, all our spectators have got their value in the price of admission right here. Have a look at the battle we're about to see erupt. First place versus second, Jed Beaton versus Kyle Webster. Let's follow this through. I think it's only a matter of time before these two really start to get the gloves off.
Yeah, it won't be too long, and it looks like Webster at the moment has been searching around for some different lines as well. Some of them have worked beautifully, and then there's been a couple of others where it's been a little bit questionable. Hops up over the braking bumps just there, and then continues charging forwards.
I've got to say, I'm really impressed with Regan Duffy. Another top 10. He's 8th place at the moment. He's got to be happy with that.
Absolutely. As I said earlier on, when we spoke to him last night, he said he would be happy with a top 10, deep in the top 10 at the moment. Looks to be that he is well and truly fit for that place. So a great start to his return as well. There's a lot of dust on the outside there. What is it?
I'm thinking that someone's gone wide over the berm, and that is dust. It almost looked like a bushfire. It started just in front of the camera.
Underneath the cameraman, unfortunately. It's still going.
What is happening here?
I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, on our scoring, we still have our big hitters up the front.
Oh, and it's down to 0.9 of a second between...
There's our problem.
It is a bushfire.
It's a KTM. Oh, no! Our leader has got... Oh, no, not our leader. Webster has gone down. Look at the bars. They are destroyed.
Oh, is he going to be able to continue at all?
There is no way he can continue from that.
Now, has he damaged himself as well as the bike? Clearly, we have a massive, massive issue for the Honda 450. Let's hope the body is okay as well.
Looks like he is in a little bit of pain. Oh, this is devastating for him, for the championship at the moment. It's only early days, but these are the things that really could...
he's going to continue.
No, he's going to the mechanics area.
Okay.
Not going to be able to change it, but
he's hurt. He is hurting.
Yes.
Oh, this is devastating news for Kyle Webster, our reigning champion, so early in the season.
And this is the pressure that comes with trying to run that pace up the front. So Gibbs, who we see on screen, inherits second place at the moment. The overalls are looking to be changing drastically right now. Gibbs can find himself on the podium, possibly up there in second. Here we go. Look to the back. Here's the replay. Oh, it's in the rollers too.
Oh, the back first roller. Whoa! That is monumental. That is end for end. We didn't see the body hit the ground, but that is just a very, very vicious out.
Beaten the mechanic, Webb out. So he'll be given the lap board now to know that there is a big gap between himself and second place. Do not do anything stupid right now. You need to just ride the rest of this race out and pick up the first place points. That was an enormous crash. And that was just a racing thing. It wasn't that he was putting himself out of sorts leading into that. He just caught an edge that he probably didn't see going into the first of those whoops. And we said it before with, I think it was the MX3, where it went right, left, right, left. That one was an extreme example of it. There is the bike. He's going back out.
Oh, that is fantastic news.
No, he's not.
He's not? Okay.
Well, the goggles are on, no. I thought maybe they'd done the repairs. He was going back out, but it doesn't look like it. Well, he'd be a few laps down now by.
I mean, so unfortunate from a points perspective and from the battle that we came to see with these two big hitters. But how devastating would it be if he's injured and we're without Kyle Webster come round 2? So another mistake, Hammy, from Maximus Purvis has basically knocked himself off the podium there. He currently sits with 31 points if he stays back there in 10th place. But currently we see Nathan Crawford, who would be second on the podium behind Jed Beaton. And then we've also got Kurt Gibbs, who I was just about to say 33 points, was tied with Luke Cloud. But Cloud has made up another position, has got himself up to 34 points. So that would pop him up onto the podium behind Crawford.
Yeah, well, and Cloud can make another pass just here on Waters and Ty Crawford. So Crawford really needs to make this pass to secure that second place on the podium. A big run, closer this time around. Oh, how was Gibbsy doubling into the corner just there, but a little overbalance going in. So that pass there should secure Nathan Crawford's spot on second on the podium, as long as nothing goes wrong, of course.
Well, not only will it secure his second place on the podium, but it will knock back Kurt Gibbs a little bit further back so that Luke Clout will have a very comfortable third place up on the podium alongside Beaton and Crawford. But we still have 9 minutes plus a lap to go. We're having a little bit of a look at Todd Waters on board the Raceline T-Dub Husqvarna machine. And Cloud is trying his absolute best to not only reel in, but get past Todd Waters.
Yeah, we'll see. If he can get past Todd Waters, that gets him to 36 points, only 1 point behind Nathan Crawford. He needs to do 2 to get himself into second place in overall for the day. So a big ask for him at the moment. He'll need to get himself around Kirk Gibbs, which sits quite a long way in front of these boys here.
So a lonely ride for the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha rider Jed Beaton, who finds himself 23 seconds ahead of our second place rider Nathan Crawford. And it all started from that hole shot. He just had to hold on that Yamaha a little bit further into that first turn to claim that hole shot. And that caused all that we saw unfold later on.
Crazy, crazy turn of events. Cloud has now got that pass made on Todd Waters, so up into 4th place. Again, securing his spot at the moment with no issues and getting to the checkered flag.
His last lap through was a 153.7, and when you consider that with no on-track pressure at the moment, his fastest lap time early in the race when he was deep into a battle was a 150.9, so let's call it a 151. He's only really dropped about 2.5 seconds off his fastest time.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to push himself anymore because he has such a huge lead over everyone else, 28 seconds now over everyone else, yet he's still managing to run these kind of lap times.
Looking very ominous for the rest of the Kawasaki MX1 field at the moment.
When they congratulate each other, the camaraderie between the two is absolutely real. So there would be absolutely some concern there as well. But it's, you know, he doesn't want to win like this. He wants to fight it out and battle it out. These two riders are just on another level right now.
Yeah, and they're both really good friends. They definitely want to beat each other on the track, and it's probably more so, you know, the teams, the mechanics, the team managers, the competitiveness runs so deep right the way through the range there. But as far as these two riders go, Beaton versus Webster, they train with each other, as we've said multiple times, every single day, but they get along so well. They're both really good people. On screen at the moment, the number 72.
It's Regan Duffy, great ride here in 8th place. You can definitely see the lack of time on the bike, race time, as he's sat out the last few years, honestly. And this is where it really shows. He is in survival mode at the moment, but still, what a position to be in at the moment, sitting there in 8th place. It's probably beating his expectations for the weekend, and what a, as I said, what a performance from him.
Yeah, bumped into his dad, Darren Duffy, is rocked up, come over from Western Australia, got mucked around travel-wise as far as flights and whatever, but so good to see Darren over here watching his son ride. You've got to understand, you've got to feel for the road that this family went down with Regan Duffy, that horrendous crash that he had, losing his life twice. They had to bring him back to life, and it has been years that he's been working. He said to me yesterday that he had to take basically a whole year off of riding just to be able to work in the gym and be able to get his right arm back to where it needs to be able to ride a motocross bike. But that's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to do anything else in life other than ride this motorcycle. So it was worth it for him to be able to put that time into it, and it's so good to see him back doing what he loves.
He completes this one. We will have 2 laps to go because the time has expired, and Jed Beaton will be greeting that last lap board very, very soon. There he is actually in the back of shot, about to get to the finish line. So the last lap board about to come out for Jed Beaton as Duffy continued on his way. 1 lap to go for this rider, and he is going to have himself a great points lead over the rest of the field.
That's the way you do it. The number 14 CDR Monster Energy Yamaha machine, Craig Dack, will be all smiles at the moment, but there is still 1 lap to go. You have to negotiate your way past the lapped riders. You have to hit your lines. You can't afford to make any mistakes. And then let's not forget, from a mechanic's point of view, this is nail-biting time. This is when they say, oh, did I hear a noise from the bike? They just want to make sure there's no drop of the chain, there's no motor lockups, anything like that. Of course, that's probably not even entering the mind of Jed Beaton, but I promise you the mechanics, the team managers, everyone back there, they're watching closely.
Beautiful run through that particular section, keeping that front wheel nice and light, picking up those soft bits of dirt there to be able to turn off. There is a lot of hard surface. It's what we saw with Brodie Connolly getting unstuck, I should say, earlier on in the MX2. Those hard packed surface, when you're not ready for it, you lose all kinds of traction and those wheels slide out from underneath you. So still searching around, trying to find a wall, a rut, a berm, anything soft to continue to give him the most traction, because these bikes run a very aggressive scoop tire and a pointy knob on the tires. There's not a lot of rubber that actually touches the ground. It's all about getting as much sand between them knobs to ensure that they have got the best traction on that bike, on that track with these softer conditions.
Making his way through the sand rollers, getting a little close to a lapped rider, but this is where the pressure starts to come up. On the pegs as he makes his way past the Yamaha section into the final corner. He has struck back in fine form, had all of the off-season to picture this in his mind. 2-1 on the day for overall victory. What a whip from Jed Beaton, taking the overall win here at Wonthaggi for round 1 of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. That is how you do it. He will make his way over towards the team and get the well-deserved congratulations.
Absolutely, he will be pumped about that win. And another good ride here, as we said, from this particular rider, Nathan Crawford, will come around in second place at the moment. He has a clear gap over the next rider behind him, so he can take his time through the Fox left-hander for the final time. Great ride by Nathan Crawford, will find himself up on the podium, second place overall today.
Very impressive from Crawford, Danny. As you said, it won't be too long until we see our third place rider come through, Kirk Gibbs. Let's take a look at the Kawasaki MX1 results. Jed Beaton with the win from Nathan Crawford. Kirk Gibbs in third place. Luke Clout in fourth. Rounding out the top 5. Very impressive, Todd Waters.
Yeah, great result there. And impressive, Levi Rogers, Zach Watson, couple of privateers. Duffy Purvis only up to 9th after, again, that tip over. Wilson Todd, a good ride there in 10th place. He should be happy with that, I believe.
He's got to be happy with that first race back in, over a year. The consistency, he'll be able to build on that coming into round 2. Joel Evans just outside of the top 10.
Chandler Burns is back there in 14th. Another good one, moving up to that class with the rest of the field. Good strong field here too, of 30 riders. We maybe lost a couple during the start of the day, but what a great day it's been for the Kawasaki MX1.
All right, let's head down to Trent with our podium.
Kawasaki MX1 podium, Kirk Gibbs. Final race of the day, mate. The track gets rough, it gets tough, and you find yourself up here on the final step of the podium. How was that last one for you?
A lot better than the first one. I forgot how to ride in the first one, and I think just motocross only and just not really getting that many races under my belt, just lost my way. And that one I got off to a good start and was right behind the two boys at the front, and just caught onto their lines early and just tried to maintain those lines as best I could. I couldn't ride them as fast as them, but yeah, I'm happy with that because the first moto was pretty disgusting. So yeah, happy to get it third in that moto.
Awesome job moving over here, P2 in the final moto. Nathan Crawford, that opener was tough. You went down in a big crash, fought your way through, but that one, you sort of sat there behind Gibbsy. Looks like you just watched his lines and then you made the pass and sort of managed it from there.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of an interesting weekend, really. We didn't really... You know, a little bit's on my fault. You know, we messed around with the bike a little bit yesterday, and then we got it good today. And yeah, my starts were unreal. The new Pirelli tyres on these Katos are hooking up really good. So massive thanks to those guys. We got two really good starts. And then yeah, in that first one, I just kind of got a little bit blindsided. I didn't even know there was a rider there, and somehow I got taken out from someone behind me. So anyway, make that make sense. But yeah, rebound in the second moto, got a good start. I was riding there with Gibbsy, and that was a fun moto. You know, I was watching where he was good, where I was better, and just trying to play with some lines. I had some pretty sketchy moments out there, and then yeah, just fought to the end. So happy to end the day like this.
Awesome job, and your winner here, the number 14 Monster Energy CDR Yamaha, Jed Beaton. The smile says it all, man. That was a tough weekend. You were duking it out with Cole Webster, but he went down. You took advantage. Red played on the 14. It must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels good. Always planning to come out and try and win, but with Kyle at the moment, we're both riding on a really high level. So yeah, they don't come easy. So yeah, I hope he's doing okay. The boy said he rode off the track, so I'm sure he's doing all right. And it's just a shame he wasn't out there to battle it out. It was a bit of a lonely moto, that one. I was a bit confused. I was doing a bit of looking behind and didn't know really what was going on. But yeah, after that, sort of just tried to get back in a little bit of a rhythm and just finish it out. It was, yeah, a good race. Pulled a whole shot for first time in a while, so yeah, that was good.
And the track too, we've talked about many laps you've spun around here, but looks like it was different to probably what you've ridden all through the pre-season.
Oh, I mean, it was completely different, so yeah, it's... you can say we ride here a lot, but every time we ride here, it's different again. So yeah, we haven't had rain here for like 3 months straight, so we got a little bit before the race, which made it a lot better. But yeah, hats off to the boys that are prepping the track, Townsy, everyone that gives us a place to ride, and yeah, I couldn't thank the team enough for yeah, doing all the hard yards over the off season, and my brother Ross for all the hard work he does as well.
Well, there you go, give it up for your MX1 podium.
Well, what a brilliant way to kick off the series here for Jed Beaton and the whole Monster Energy Yamaha team. Danny, it's a fantastic way.
Yeah, fantastic to see the start of the season being so strong, and it really sets us up for the rest of these rounds upcoming.
All right, well, Danny, what a way to kick things off for 2025. Wonthaggi always provides one of the toughest tracks on the calendar. Thank you so much for joining us here for round one, the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. On behalf of Danny Ham and myself, Lee Hogan, thanks for your company. We'll see you next as we head to Appin, New South Wales for round two of the championship. Goodbye for now.